Welcome back, everyone, to our My Team gameplay of Formula One 2020. And I am very excited once again for today's video. I mean, you guys know me. In this series, I'm very excited just because I get to play this game. This is a great introduction for me to the Formula One series. Again, not Formula One racing. I've been watching that forever. But the series, and I am loving it so far. I'm loving just trying to learn all the intricacies there. I feel like I'm learning something every time I fire up the game that I didn't already know. So this is a very exciting time for me, but we got a lot to do in today's video. As time progresses, you can see right there, we're on in the top left-hand corner, we're on Monday, May the 4th. And as we progress, you see there are several things that are going to happen before we get to our next race. But before we get to any of that, let's first take a look at those activities you see queued up. So we've got, our time goes all the way down to a season break on the 18th. All right, so I have no idea what's going to happen after that. Obviously, that's not our next race, but we'll have to see what happens after that. But for right now, we've got several events queued up. Basically, we had enough time to queue up every one of the events except for one, and I chose the power department focus as that one for a couple of reasons. Number one, I didn't want to focus on one department because it's going to hurt the other department's morale. Didn't really want to do that, and there was no particular reason to focus on the power department because we're not really doing any R&D in that area right now. So I decided it was the one I was going to leave out. The rest of them are queued up. You guys know I have talked a lot about Team Acclaim and also Driver Acclaim to an extent, but really focusing hard on that Team Acclaim because in the long term, the more sponsors we can have, the more money we can have coming in. Ultimately, that's going to mean the more upgrades we can do, more R&D, all of those types of things. So I'm looking very much in the long term, not terribly worried about where we are right now. I'm thinking next year and 2 years out and so on. So we've got our activities already queued up, and you can see those down the left-hand side of the screen. And then the 11th, so May 11th is going to be the next opportunity to get some new resources in here. And most particularly for me is going to be a little bit of money and those R&D points. And now I'm going to show you why I'm looking for those R&D points. So if we come back over to our R&D tree, right now we're focused mainly on the aerodynamics and also in the chassis. There are a couple of things that I'm really targeting. I really want to get done as soon as possible. So let's start off looking in the chassis area. So I'm not terribly worried about a minor increase in the tire wear. It's definitely something we want, but right now I'm more interested in the monocoque structure. We want to get the weight down, and you can see on the right hand side, if you scroll down a little bit, there you see Knee Pit Gaming. It is going to move the slider up quite a bit compared to some of the other upgrades we've seen. So that major upgrade is definitely worth it. Same thing if we go down to the bottom and look at the engine cover. Again, weight management. That's going to be a huge one. Both of these are 1,100 a piece, and we have 1,085. So just enough to drive me nuts. We are so close to being able to fire these up right now, but we're not quite there. If we take a look back in aerodynamics, you can see we've done a couple of things here to the front wing to increase the downforce, but these are minor changes. We've already done one to the rear wing and nearing completion on the second one, but once we get done with those, we've got a couple of major increases in front downforce. And once again, if you look at Knee Pit Gaming on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see that that's a pretty big change. The slider is going to move quite a bit there, and then we get the same thing. Once this minor upgrade is taken care of, we'll have the opportunity to do the exact same thing for the rear wing. So these are all upgrades, but they're also very expensive. So we're going to be looking to do some more upgrades to our facilities to help out with the R&D points. So right now we have 60 coming from 3 places: aero, chassis, and powertrain. And then we've still got personnel isn't giving us any. Durability is still giving us the first 20 points that we started with. But we're only getting 200 weekly resource points. We want to continue to increase that as much as we can. So there's some things we can do about that. And let's go ahead and start. I believe it is under corporate. I think. Again, this is something that I'm still trying to figure out. Let's see, under contracts, of course, we got our second driver, Alisi, and who's doing a fine job. He's not quite as strong as I would like, but you have to keep in mind, you get what you pay for, and right now we're trying to allocate our money in other places. So he's not doing terrible. but we hope that he can improve over time. I would love nothing more than to be able to keep him on board, but I just don't see it happening long term. But the reason we are on this screen is to look about driver perks. Now, this is something that I kind of knew existed earlier on because I had seen a glimpse of it earlier, but I had gotten so caught up in everything else, I simply forgot about it. So let's take a look at our driver perks. Right now we have, and this looks very much like the upgrade structure from the other parts of our team. So social media team, if we purchase for $275,000 of team money because we own the team, then our driver Acclaim will be boosted by 10%. And then as you continue to upgrade in that area, it will increase that. Power mapping, engine wear reduced by 10%. I can definitely see a huge advantage to doing that long term. And we'll get back to the engine wear here in a few moments. Media coaching, unlocking additional interview answers. That is very good. That's something we definitely want because those interview answers that we give can help to boost the morale and also the performance of our car, as we've already seen through the first few videos. And then development feedback, resource point income will be boosted by 10%. That is a huge one. And of course, that is a long-term gain for us for only $250,000. Why do I say only $250,000? Well, very simple. $250,000 is nothing compared to the $2 million, $5 million that we see in upgrading these other departments. Now, an increased boost of 10% isn't going to be a monstrous amount right now. For us right now, it would give us an extra 20 points per week because we're currently generating 200. So that's still not bad. So this is the first place I want to spend a little money. I am going to spend a little money here in this one for 250. Let's go ahead and do that. So there we go. The next increase will be 25%. We'll move up to 25%, which is another huge one. It's only going to cost us $540,000. Again, much cheaper than some of the other options we have available, but we can't do this one until we reach level 8. So we got still a little bit of time there. I really like the media coaching, but for now, I want to come up to this power mapping because my understanding is these are driver perks, which means that they're going to carry over season after season. So I want to go ahead and get some of these upgrades done. We want to reduce that engine wear. We already saw that in the last video that we need to help that out. So now here we go, by 10%. Excellent. That gives us a great start. Our next upgrade we can't do until level 8, but it's only $515,000. So I am big into this. Next thing I might want to upgrade would be the media coaching. I definitely see a benefit for that. But for right now, I've gotten done what I wanted to get done in this area. So we still have $1.9 million. And hey, it's good to own the team. So we've still got plenty of money there. And we want to consistently upgrade our driver perks because I think long term this is going to be huge for us. Another thing I wanted to show you guys is all the way over under customization. You notice that dot that constantly shows up. This means we have other alternatives that really we're going to get into later on as far as changing the paint scheme on our car. But right now, I just want to look at the sponsor decals. I've come in and I actually thought this happened automatically in the game, but it does not. So I have added our new sponsors to the car. Not really much of a plan behind this. I just basically wanted to get them on there and see what it looked like. So far, so good. We've got our sponsors on there. I'm pretty happy with that. And there's plenty of time that we can move that stuff around anytime we would prefer. Not really worried about changes to our character because we don't really see our character very much, if at all, throughout the gameplay. So that takes care of some initial things that I wanted to do. Now I want to come back to, let's do facilities and durability. We're only generating 20 resource points right now. So if I come down here, 1.5 million is all it's going to take for us to increase that to 60. I want to do that. So we're going to spend some money today. You can see the activation time. It'll be active on May the 9th, which is perfectly fine. We know that these things take a little bit of time. So now we're down to only 400,000, but I think this is money well spent on the 3 upgrades that we've purchased. And hey, I'm really excited. Anytime I get to upgrade our team or our driver, I'm a happy man. So things are looking good. Now, The next thing is going to be our R&D, but we got to wait a little bit on that because we've already seen we need about 15 more points for that. So let's go ahead and move over to the vehicle, because now we get to talk about that pesky engine that gave us so much trouble in the last race, and how I tried my best to nurse it home as best I could at the risk of losing some positions on the track. So I've been looking at this a little bit, and I could be entirely wrong about this, but it looks like so much of this expected lifespan is just simply based on laps. And what that means for me, now obviously there is a portion that's also based on how I drive the car. So if I'm over revving the engine constantly, which I'm prone to do from time to time, I'm trying to get better at that. But if I'm getting the engine too hot, or over revving, or dropping down through the gears too much on downshifts, things like that, then that's certainly going to affect the wear. But what we can see here is it's based on the number of laps to a large extent. So we just barely made it through that last race. We've already made an upgrade that's going to help us in the future. However, we need to go ahead and move this over. We need to go ahead and move to engine number 2. And what this is going to mean is, starting this next race, which I believe is Canada, I'm going to have to do fewer laps in practice, because that certainly is hurting the wear as well. Again, I could be wrong, and I'm still trying to figure all this out, but I believe that is the case as well. So I'm just going to have to turn fewer practice laps. Not happy about that, because I love my practice laps to try to work through some things. But hey, it is what it is, and we're going to go with it. And as I learn more, we'll make some changes. So we're going to go ahead and fit this component. Let's see, would you like to apply this component to your car? There's no penalty for this action. All right, thank you very much. Yes, I would. You can see our overall wear comes down to 57, but we're not done. And of course, this action is pending. Not sure exactly how long that takes, but shouldn't take very long, and certainly should be done well before our next race. So our overall wear is going to be down to 57%. All right, fine. So that's good. That's overall for the motor, by the way, the engine system. So now here we have, we can make a change. Let's see, what was this number? 57, okay. So we're going to bring this down. If we do that, we're at 67% wear on this particular one. And for those of you wondering, it says 73 in the middle of the screen. I'm looking on the right-hand side of the screen. Track time / wear. 128 laps, that's 67%. I'm thinking, let's just go ahead and change this out, as long as there's no huge penalty, which I don't think there will be. Let's see, do you want to apply no penalty? Okay, we'll do that. The heat unit, yeah, we definitely want to change that out. I mean, it's an easy one. So if we start that over, no penalty. Okay, we're good to go there. Energy store, we're only halfway through there. I don't really see a reason to do that. So only halfway through. I think we're fine to leave that alone. Really want to try to get to at least race 5, probably, since it's only showing 2 of these for the season. Our season is 10 races right now, so I'm guessing we need to get about 5 races out of this one. So I'm going to leave this one alone. Turbocharger, again, we've got 3 of these for a full season. We're at 82%, so not terrible, but I think I'm going to go ahead and start over with this one as well. And then finally, the electronics. We've only got 2 for a full season. Have no idea what happens if I need to order a new part. I don't know about if it costs me money. I'm sure it does. Or what happens other than maybe a penalty. But for right now, it's only at 46%, so I think we're good to go to leave this one in place. So I believe we made all the changes we needed to. And so now let's go back there. And let's move over to the gearbox. This is another area. So our gearbox for practice is at 66%, which is a little interesting to me. We're at 68 laps in practice, but of course, remember, we get to change gearbox for the race, and our race gearbox is perfectly fine right now. We're 3 races in. We need to get at least, I believe it's 6 races on this one before a penalty. Yeah, there we go. 3 of 6 races. I was looking for it on the screen. So we're halfway through, and the wear is only at 23%, so I think we're good here. But the practice gearbox, we're going to need to change out at some point, but I'm going to try to get at least one more race out of this one. And then I'll just back off how many practice laps I run and only try to focus on the stuff that gets me R&D points as much as possible. So we're going to be looking at fitting a new one there. Again, no idea about cost or what's going to happen with that. But I think we're okay there. Not going to mess with the weekend tire allocation simply because I kind of like just leaving it at balanced right now. That may be something I get into later on, but for right now, I'm just going to go with the standard loadout, or what they're calling balanced. All right, so we've taken care of all of that. I believe we're now ready to, let's check over a few things, just make sure. We've talked about the durability resource points. We've talked about R&D, engine components swapped out, driver perks. Yeah, we've talked about sponsor decals and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and advance time until the 11th, and that's when we're going to get some more resource points. So let's go ahead and do that. Got some much needed upgrades. Events are taking place right now. There we go, general durability. And there we go. So let's go ahead and stop that after the new allocation comes in. All right, good. You probably heard the guy, or at least saw the pop-up message at the bottom that says all our new parts are done. They got done without any issues, no failed R&D. So that is awesome. Let's go back over to our facilities. We see now that we have 4 departments that are giving us 60 points. Weekly resource allocation at 240 right now. All right, let's see. Actually, I think that's going to change too, but I might be thinking about that wrong. But for right now, we're focused on some R&D. So let's come down to the R&D tree, and I really want to reduce the weight on our car. I think that's going to be the best bang for our buck right now, because our weight being lighter helps us whether we're in traffic or in open air. So aero doesn't help us as much when we're in traffic. So let's go ahead and upgrade the monocoque structure. That is going to be a very nice increase, and we hope it doesn't fail because we don't want to have to pay any additional time in this case to make that happen. Let's go ahead and develop that. 37% failure. Yeah, I know. You want me to do upgrades. I got it. So let's go ahead and develop that. You can see it won't be ready before our next race, but that's perfectly fine. Again, we're thinking years and years ahead. All right, so let's come back over to the powertrain. This one, we need 262. We only got 225. Okay, so we can't quite do that. I was only going to do that if we had just enough resource points to make that happen. So that's no big deal. All right, everything else is ready to go. Our $1 million, we're not going to spend any more of that. Not just yet, anyway. So let's go ahead and advance time once again. Do some more sponsor events. You can see a little bit of money coming out of the bank there.
You're not currently in a rivalry. Sooner or later, you'll probably be asked by the media who you consider to be your rival. Think carefully who you select. While you will receive acclaim for beating them, you'll lose acclaim if you fail to do so.
Okay, so we don't have a rival just yet, and not really terribly worried about that. I mean, it can definitely help us out, but right now I can't even think of anybody that I would want to list as a rival. We've only run a few races, so right now it says start the season break. I wonder what that's going to do, quite frankly. So the 18th of May through the 28th of May. All right, before we do that, let's actually go back into our R&D. And let's go ahead and complete this one. Let's go ahead and develop that part. 0% failure. Yeah, let's go ahead and let that happen. It's going to be done fairly quickly. So that'll get our queue completely taken care of, and we won't have that nasty looking X coming at us. But that'll probably be the last thing we do over in the engine area, at least for right now. And then we'll turn our attention back over to some more weight reduction on the chassis and some front and rear downforce major enhancements. Okay, so let's come back over. I can't think of anything else other than it still says pending on these changes to the car. Let's go ahead and start that season break, and let's see what in the world. Okay, it really didn't do anything, it doesn't appear. All right, very nice. So activities, do we have any more activities? Oh, we do not. I can do this one, which it gives me a few resource points. I don't think I want to do that simply because I don't want to lose morale in these other ones. So I think I'm just going to leave this alone. Really wish I could get some more options here. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that alone. As much as I hate to do that. Man, I hate to do that. All right, so facilities. I keep looking at these weekly resource points because I think it should be higher. But who knows? We'll see how that goes. Corporate, let's go back over to the contracts. And right now I'm at a level 5 on driver Acclaim. So let's go back into our perks. And yes, okay, level 8 is what it wanted. The social media team, I kind of think I want to do one of these right now. Actually, I want to do both of them, quite frankly. But driver Acclaim, let's go ahead and get this one. It seems like these guys are tied to driver Acclaim, so let's go ahead and get an increase there. Just get that boost. It's only 10%, but hey, you got to start somewhere. All right, let's go ahead and advance time once again. Watching those resource points. All right, there we go. Letting that money accumulate. All right, so now we're at 683 resource points, 2.51 million. So that is very good. Again, we're not really building a lot of money right now because I'm, for the most part, spending it as soon as we get it. But let's see. What about our marketing? What is that going to do for us? 5 million and 5 million, so, or 2 million there. So let's see. Amplify the positive effects. Okay, that's nice. Sponsor relations. Yeah, we're nowhere near that. All right, let's move over to durability. Let's see. That's not what I wanted. Personnel. That's what I wanted. This is all about driver number 2, I believe, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so we're good. Nothing else I want to do at this point. Now, one thing I do want to have happen as quickly as possible in the future is I want to start working on some of these other upgrades. It would take all of our money to do that right now. So I really don't want to do a whole lot here, but that is something I'm keeping in mind for the future. So it looks like we've done a lot in today's video just so far. We didn't even get to the race weekend yet, which of course is the most exciting part. So with everything we've done, I really want that worn components thing to go away, and I'm hoping that when we get to the racetrack, that's exactly what will happen, but I guess we're about to find out.
We're back once again beside the St. Lawrence River here in Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix. The event first moved to a variant of this track back in 1978. It was won by none other than Gilles Villeneuve, the first Canadian to ever win his home race, and in whose honour the circuit would be renamed. If you want flat-out racing, you've come to the right place this weekend, as it's full throttle for 59% of this 2.7-mile circuit, peaking at around 210 miles per hour going into the final chicane. But that speed requires discipline, and there are more than a few close walls here just waiting to punish drivers with a heavy right foot. Anthony Davidson, thanks for joining me once again for the Grand Prix. Why don't we start by talking about Valtteri Bottas? That was a great win in the last race. Can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
There are never any guarantees in this business, but certainly the performance last time out would have boosted their confidence coming into this one.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Leclerc, Vettel, Lance Stroll and Perez, Ricciardo, Sainz, Grosjean and Pierre Gasly, Giovinazzi, Ocon, Max Verstappen. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Kvyat, Raikkonen, Magnussen, Alexander Albon and Giuliano Alesi, Norris, Latifi, the rookie and George Russell ends our grid lineup. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway.
All right, folks, it is race time, and this whole race weekend has just been a complete mess. Very unexpectedly, my gearbox went away. My practice gearbox, something we talked about earlier in the video. I didn't think the wear was that bad, but it went away. I lost a gear, and it was on the verge of failing, so I had to stop practicing. We got very few resource points. I got very few laps at all. And then on top of that, it was raining the entire time early in the weekend. So what laps I did get were in the rain. So everything is all mixed up. You can see here we're in the clear right now, but there is expected to be rain as the race progresses. So we'll see how it all works out. Now the setup I used, because we're using parc fermé conditions, I went ahead and did a setup that hopefully I can survive in the wet with. So I had to give away a lot of speed because I added some downforce to the car that hopefully will help me finish this race. That's going to be goal number one of today, as it always really is. Let's just try to finish the race. We'll see what happens, and I'm going to try to get as many positions as I can, but hopefully things will get better in the race because they sure have not been a great deal of fun during the practice session. So with that in mind, let's get to it. All right, folks, here we go. The lights go out. We get started. Lap one is always the same. Survive. See our teammate there ahead. I really like that paint scheme. Or these guys are brake checking each other something fierce. All right, I do not want to be side by side. Oh, look out. Trying to give him room, but boy, that is difficult to do at this track. Got somebody beside us. Ooh, look out.
Great first lap. Keep it up.
I don't know what he's thinking is so great, other than the fact that we haven't fenced it yet. This is wow. All right, this is where they're going to crush us. We have extra downforce on for rain, and you can see there is no rain right now. All right, I'm going to brake a little early going into here. Okay, that didn't work out. It said he was beside me. There he is. So I guess the good news is...
Okay, we lost the position. Try to keep focus.
It's not surprising at all that we don't have a great deal of pace. I feel way off the pace here, and I know I am. So, right now, unfortunately, there's not a whole lot I can do about that. So we're just going to have fun with it. When in doubt, have fun. And when not in doubt, have fun. Got to figure out how aggressive you can be over those curves, because obviously there's a lot of speed to be gained there. Ooh, wheel spin there for sure. All right, so we need to build a little bit of room on the guys behind us. Just like I said, that we have way too much downforce on.
DRS is being enabled this lap.
Yeah, there's the
We can use
DRS.
DRS when you are within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
If at all possible, I would like to be within a second of the guy in front of me so he can give us a nice tow down the straightaway with that DRS. But so far, that's not panning out for me.
Rain is forecast in just over 10 minutes time. Rain in 10 minutes.
All right, there's our rain notification. There we go. So we pulled ahead a little bit from the guys behind us. A little bit. Wow, I can't believe it let me get by with that on the corner there. So apparently you can be extremely aggressive there. in the final corner. This track is so much fun. I mean, it's basically a lot of straightaways for the most part, connected by some chicanes, but the previous corner there has been my nemesis so far in practice and thus far in the race. Little wheel spin there. Alright, so I'm staying relatively close to these guys in front. In fact, I've actually run them down a little bit in the last couple of laps, which is really good for me. Try to give those guys plenty of room on the entry to that corner, as it gets really tight through there. And if I'm fortunate enough to find any way to pass, I'm going to have to figure out where to do it. The most logical place is... Ooh, hello. Going into the final corner. Well, we'll see. The other logical place is going into the hairpin. But we'll see if we can make that happen, if and when the opportunities provide themselves. Then, of course, you got to remember, if we do get the rain, which is set in about 10 minutes now, I have no idea what that is in game time, or if that is even talking about game time as opposed to real time. We'll see. All right, so here we are, right back on the back bumper of
We're
Orlando
approaching the
North.
pit window. You'll be on the mediums.
Oh, do we really want to pit right now with weather coming? Doesn't seem like something we want to do. All right, let's just try to survive through here. Just trying to stay as close as I can for an opportunity to maybe pass going out into the hairpin.
Caution, caution.
Oh, that's our teammate. That's no good.
The track is clear. Green flag.
That is no good. I didn't see what on the pop-up message it said happened to him. But he was running, hey, he was running better than me in this race. So I can't complain about performance. Ooh, that was really close to champion wall. A lot closer than I wanted to be. Again, this game is just so much fun. Even when you guys hear me say things like I did earlier, like, oh, this practice session or this race weekend hasn't been fun so far. That just means from a competition standpoint. Playing the game is an absolute blast for me, regardless of what kind of results we're getting. I am having an absolute blast playing this game. It's just that competitively, this race weekend has not been good.
Out of the race.
Oh, Giuliano. Oh, there he was right on the side there. All right, let's try to stay right on the tail of Lando. Again, just trying to get that toe. All right, so everybody's starting to
Verstappen is in
pit.
the pits. In this lap, push now.
A little bit loose under throttle there. There's so much more time for me to pick up on this track. Wow, it is unreal. And I'm not just talking about because of the performance of our car. I'm talking about the performance of its driver. Woo! I am definitely using a setup that is a little bit skatey in the rear, which does not bode well for when the weather gets here. We'll be running half throttle if we keep this up. All right, this is going to be tricky. All right, there we go. Wasn't aware that the car in front of us was coming in as well, so I actually got on the brakes a bit early. All right, I don't know how this is going to work out with
Complete, go now.
with the weather that's coming, but oh, look out. That is some serious driving that he's doing, yanking that steering wheel.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
There we go. I was waiting to see when it was going to give me control of the car back again. So now we're waiting for the weather. I don't know what they've got on as far as tires in front of me. I'm not close enough to really pay a whole lot of attention to. Plus, I've got my own issues to worry about right now. But it would be nice to know if I'm on the same tire or not, just from a performance standpoint. Again, that is a lot of curb right there. That is. So somebody coming out of the pits. Oh, that was a terrible corner. Good news is nobody's catching us from behind right now. All right, what do we got? 1.8 seconds to Albon.
We're expecting rain in around 10 to 15 minutes.
You said that 10 minutes ago. This guy's killing me. Oh, you gotta love the race forecast. Even in the sim, there's that degree of difficulty. So we're over halfway through the race now. So now the question becomes, does it rain at all by the end, or are we gonna get rain with something like, 2 laps to go? It'd be a lot of fun, quite frankly, if we got rain like with 2 laps to go.
In front is 2.1 seconds.
All right, let's see if we can eat into that lead a little bit. See if we got any speed at all for these guys. I'm seeing 1.7. That certainly didn't help anything. Really need to be a lot better going through that corner. Since we're so slow on the straightaway, that is not doing us any favors.
We're catching the car ahead, but be aware that these tires need to last till the end of the race.
Oh. Overcooked it just a little bit. Oh, that was a terrible corner. Alright, so I'm pushing a little bit too hard now. We are catching them maybe a little bit, but still, it won't matter if I'm tearing the car up doing it. Wrong gear there. Really hard to get the throttle down coming out of that corner. Love it. It's absolutely a blast. Never have I embraced failure so much as I am in this game right now. It's just so much fun. Yeah, apparently you can just get away with murder in the final corner there. I'm trying to respect it at least a little bit. Yeah, that corner is a nemesis.
Behind by around a second a lap.
Around a second a lap, he says. That's a lot. I mean, that is a lot. Considering how slow I'm going. Wow. Alright, we're reining them in a little bit. Taking all the way out to the wall. Really trying to open up that exit. We'll see if it helps. Oh wow, yeah, maybe it did help a little bit. Of course, you can see we're losing down the straightaway. Well, knowing how this race has played out to this point, I would not have used the level of downforce that I had, because I could have sworn when they were initially giving me the briefing that they told me that they had told me that we were going to expect rain for most of the session, if not all of the session during the race. But of course that has turned out not to be the case. But once again, that's one of the things I love about this game, is because there's a margin of error to everything. Everything is not just set in stone. So the forecast turned out to be inaccurate, at least the way I understood it. So it led to me making some very bad decisions. Yeah, didn't get through that corner good at all. Alright, so we're on lap 14, or completing lap 14. So if the rain is coming, this is going to make things very interesting. I'm just waiting for it. Like 2 laps to go. Really got to figure out that corner. Terrible. So yeah, I'm estimating that we're probably going to get that rain. It's probably going to come a flood with like 2 laps to go. Or right as you take the white flag, you know, something crazy like that. And then you're going to have to try to limp it home without fencing it. Woo, a little twitchy. I've started working on setups a little bit just to try to find some things that might suit my driving style. And so that'll be an ongoing process, obviously, but I've sort of started with a baseline of some things that have worked for me in single player, not career mode or my team mode, but in single player a little bit, just trying to figure it out. You know, what do I like? Do I like more of a stiffer suspension or a softer suspension? What about the roll bars? You know, all that kind of thing.
You're pulling out a second a lap on the car behind.
But yeah, it's going to take me a while to figure these things out, but I've made some good progress so far. So if I can figure out what I like in the car, then that will help me in the long run.
We've only got 2 laps of fuel left.
He scares me every time he says that. He says 2 laps of fuel left, and obviously we got more than 2 laps to go. We got like 2.5. Again, more wheel spin on the exit, just trying to manage it as best I can. The driving aid is helping me, obviously, in that, but I really don't like relying on that. All right, I'm looking to the skies.
We're only a second away from the car ahead. Let's see if we can use DRS to pass him.
Agreed. Let's use that DRS to pass him. Small problem. Can't get to it. I can close up in certain areas of the track, but not in areas where I can actually pass him. Tony Albon here is really trying to make things difficult on me. He's trying to make things difficult on, I think that's Daniel Kvyat right in front of him. That was not intended to be a pass maneuver.
Nice move. Good job.
I don't know that it's going to work, but thank you. That was not intended to be a passing maneuver. Wow. Okay, did I see raindrops?
This is your final lap of the race.
Somehow that's stuck, and of course that means he's going to have DRS. But hey, at least we can say that we made a pass. Not the way I intended to, that's for sure. Oh, that must be the rain. Yeah, we're definitely getting rain here. Not only can you see it, I can feel it in the car. Again, this is awesome. Oh. I don't see any rooster tails behind the car yet. All right, come on, let's just survive. Last corner. Brake early, just in case. Oh, yeah. Checkered flag. And there it is. Woo! I was a little worried there for that last half lap.
Take care of the car on the way in.
All right, so 18th position. Not what I think we could have gotten had the driver been better. And he chosen a better setup and all those kind of things. So we ended up getting rain for what? The last 3/4 of a lap, something like that.
And a great performance from
wow.
the entire team to secure victory here.
But that's what this game is all about for me. It's about, you know, taking those chances. Does it work out? Does it not work out? Those are the gambles you take in racing, and we see it all the time in real life. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And when it doesn't work, everybody's looking at you like, what on earth were you thinking?
And that's allowed them to get the best out of the car.
So no surprise there. Mercedes on the podium.
And
probably
I can see
sweeping
the
the top
drivers
two
starting
spots.
to approach the podium for the victory celebrations.
Yeah,
A
so
real
we've got a
team
couple of
victory
Mercedes
today.
up there. Looks like Charles
Everybody
Leclerc,
played their
or
part.
Charles Leclerc, up
Congratulations
there
then to Mercedes, your race winners
as well.
today.
So no real surprises there. The most unfortunate thing was the retirement of our teammate. That, I didn't like to see that. Hope that doesn't spell trouble in the future. Maybe we got some issues since I have neglected the R&D for our durability. So maybe that's coming back to haunt me already. All right, so current tier number 9. I don't really care about that. Let's go ahead and skip
now
that.
let's take a look at the driver's standings. After an incredible performance, Lewis Hamilton secures the top spot in the Drivers' Championship. Let's focus on the driver of the day, Anthony Davidson. Who do you pick?
I have to give it to the rookie. There was a lot going on all down
To
the
the
field,
rookie?
but they were the only one who I really felt maximised their potential.
It's time to see how
Oh,
things
there
are
we go.
shaping up
There-
in
I
the
will take
Constructors'
that.
Championship.
I
Mercedes
will
continue
take it.
to extend
Doesn't matter if
their
I agree
lead.
with him or not.
Meanwhile, good
I'm
work
going
from
to take
Racing
it.
Point this weekend,
I
who pushed
suppose he's
themselves
talking about the
further
fact
up
that I
order.
made up, what, 3
And with
grid
that, we wrap
spots?
up another weekend of motorsport.
Let's see.
But with
Of
more
course, a couple of
races
those
lined
came
up,
from
be sure
retirement,
to join
but we're not
us
going to talk
when
about
we come
that.
back with more Formula One.
So yeah, I guess, I mean, for the most part, most guys, there's a couple of people that made up some spots, but for the most part, everybody's about where they started. So not a whole lot changes. That sounds a lot like Formula One, quite frankly. Hey, so we'll take that. So driver of the race. Wow. I feel honored. Certainly didn't expect that, given the way the weekend played out. But what a way to wrap up our weekend by getting driver of the race.
Great work out there today.
Ooh.
Let's have your thoughts.
What do we got? Great race out there today. Let's
Working
see.
your way through the field during the race.
Oh, what was that? Our engineers have done a fantastic job with the power unit. Ooh, so that's the one that we could unlock. Okay, I got you. I got you. All right, so let's see what we want to do. Didn't look like anyone has as much grip as we did. Well, they shouldn't have, since we had tons of downforce on the car. So easy when the car handles like this. Okay. I don't think anyone can compete. Well, obviously, given the engine manufacturer we chose, that's not a true statement. But what I'm going to say is it didn't look like anyone has as much grip as us, because what I want to do is getting good with the aero department. So we're going to choose that.
You're breaking all expectations. What's your secret?
Well, thank you very much for noticing. We are, this is great. This is just so much fun. I'm like a kid in a candy store right now. All right, so secret, I'm the best driver in the track. That's no secret. Wow. Wow, that is a yikes. Yeah, we're definitely not going to be choosing that one. That would be telling. It's about having a great team and great car. Oh, well, that's an easy one. Let's do that one. I do like that one. A little cheeky response there. I kind of like that. But let's go with great team and great car. Your acclaim was affected. Okay, I don't know if that was good or bad, but hopefully it was good. What'd you think about the weather? Yeah, it definitely affected my outcome today, or at least I'd like to think we could have done better. It certainly didn't dampen my spirits. Oh, I love that response. Love it. Oh, okay, we got to go with this one. I just cannot make myself not do that. So, your acclaim was affected. Okay. Again, hopefully it was good.
Were you struggling for grip, or did you
Left a lot of paint on the wall. What? What are you talking about? Did I hit the wall? Were you struggling? You left a lot of paint. Okay, I feel like that's unfair. She's targeting me right now. We've got a bully reporter. This isn't the best track for the car. Nah, we don't want to say that. Maybe I need to watch the replay. Okay, that sounds more like where I'm at right now. Car was sliding all over it. We need to focus more on downforce. All right, I like that. However, I feel like it's going to work negative against the morale of that department. So, I mean, that focus on downforce, obviously we need to do that. All right, I'm just going to go there. I'm going to put it on me. My claim was affected. Again, I don't know if that was good or bad.
Great. Well, that's everything.
That was interesting there. That was a lot of questions. Finishing position. Oh, that's right. He's my new rival. That's right. I forgot about that. Can we go back? I want to see that again. I wasn't paying close enough attention. I need the teacher to put that back up on the screen for me. All right, so we've reached level 6 on Acclaim. We have surpassed level 7 as a team. We're now halfway through level 8. Again, you guys are going to have to slow down. Can I go back? You guys are going to have to slow down. Okay. Base payout total. Okay, we got 65 grand. All right, let me go back. I want to go back. Total money, yes, 3.43 million. I want to go back. Are you going to let me do that? Let me hit all the buttons. That's what we're going to do. When in doubt, you just hit all the buttons. It looks like if you look right underneath cash, you got those 3 icons, and then there's a line there. It looks like I can go back and forth. However, I have yet to figure out a way how. But I really want to, because I missed some good stuff in there. I'm going to have to go back and watch the recording myself just to see some of this stuff. So, Elise, not so great for the race weekend, but, you know, it's not the end of the world. Hopefully, it's just not a sign of things to come, because we're working on performance right now.
Our margins are looking good right now. I think we've got room for some more investment.
I agree. I do think we have some more room for more investment. All right, so we don't have a whole lot of time. Looks like a couple of weeks before the Austrian Grand Prix. So we've got a little time to maybe do a little bit of R&D. There you see our monocoque structure is going to be done here in a couple of days. We've got 1,300 research points, which of course includes the very few points that I managed to get over the race weekend. But all in all, the weekend was disastrous through practice and qualifying. But the race, hey, I can't argue. I had tons of fun. We got to pass a car. We made up a few spots the old-fashioned way, which is they retired. But, hey, you can't beat it. We got to play a wonderful game and had a ton of fun doing it. So that is going to do it for today. Thank you so much for joining me. And hopefully you guys are having as much fun as I am as we play along in the My Team of Formula 1 2020.